Hey everybody, it's summertime, day 11 I think, and I'm coming to you from my favorite campsite on the entire Mountains of Sea Trail. Got my simple setup right here. Weather was great last night. I did do a little bit of night hiking to make it here. I think I did 26 miles yesterday, and that is up the pinnacle, down the pinnacle, across Limbo River, up Off Mnt, and the 20 miles before that. So not huge numbers, but again, elevation up and down, and just the brutalness of the hike. Actually, the hike up Off Mnt was not as bad as I remember it being. In 2012, there's a lot less growth because of the wildfire from back in like 2000 or something. I forget when it was, but there's not a lot of coverage. Now it seems to be growing back pretty good, so it wasn't as brutal. However, the far side of that mountain range, the pinnacle is somewhere up there, and I was on the pinnacle around 5 p.m. last night. And the far side of that, coming up the pinnacle, that was brutal. I don't know if they had a prescribed burn or a fire more recently, but not a lot of coverage there. Steep incline the entire time, full sun, just sweating my ass off. It was rough, but I think that's the pinnacle. And then I made it all the way down there, and I mean that was near the end of the day. I almost camped there. It's like 5 p.m. I decided to push onto here, down the mountain. Let's see if I can get it. That's the Limbo River right there, across the river, and then came up here. This campsite's changed a lot. It's grown up. People are cutting trees down. It's a lot of human activity evidence up here, not leave no trace. There's not a whole lot of trash, but it's definitely been modified by humans. And I gotta say, honestly, I like how it looks better now. I'm surprised to say it, but it's just a great site. You can just sleepwalk right off the edge if you had to. But the thing that makes this so great, aside from the views and the cool layout, is that just down here, there's a little water seepage spring type of thing. And after a day of brutal hiking and no water at the side of this mountain, that's a great thing to come upon at the end of the day. So I'm gonna go fill up there before I head on, because I know there's not a lot of water for the next several miles. Pack up and make it to the Chimneys, which is where I had a very spiritual experience, my first through hike through. So I hope to catch some of those feelings, and then on to Table Rock, and then down into many river forts today. I think it's like 10 or 15. I thought that was yesterday. I only did 2 or 3 yesterday. But today I go through Steele's Creek Falls and Harper's Falls and all these different ones. So feet wet and party. We'll see how it goes. And this is the view from the side of my campsite. Hey, all right, so this is the little water pipe seepage thing. That's the trail down to Wolf Pit Road, and the trail that I came up heading east on the Mountains of Sea Trail. Continue on the trail right there to get to the campsite I slept at last night, which is just a few yards up the trail. And the little pipe water itself has been modified over the years. You can see it's just collecting back there, and then someone's built this little pipe into it. Can y'all see? There. And done a lot of work building it up and damming it up to let the water come out here. And it flows on down. Now, I've drinking out of this pipe without filtering, but I have noticed there's a lot of little like side trails up further down up on top of where this seepage is, and there's not a lot of places to use the bathroom on top of Off Mnt. So I just have a feeling lately that there's been a lot of human activity above the water source, so I filter it now. And it's delicious, so I'm gonna get some hydration going and then keep on moving on. Coming up on a neat little feature of this area on top of Off Mnt. It's this seasonal pond. And you can tell a lot of animals up here use it for drinking. I think I saw a deer up here the other day. I've never seen one so high, real small. Didn't catch a full look at it, but I think that's what it was. So I don't think this spring is this pond is being fed by a spring or anything like that. I've been here in the winter, or was it the middle of the summer? I've been here one time where the pond was completely dry, and that was cool to look around at what's left over. There is, small fish and tadpoles in here. So it's kind of a really unique ecosystem. I bet you there's stuff in this pond that only lives in this pond, you know what I mean? And you can grab some water if you had to. It looks like some people put out some sticks and rocks to get out here to collect. But I prefer that little seepage spring I showed you earlier. But I love this little spot. This pond is so serene and unique. Definitely still evidence of that burn. But it's filling in very nicely. And that's where we're headed. In just a few short miles. So here's the route for the next several miles. The trail is back here. Continue along this ridge just a short while. Down, 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 up, down, and then up all these cliffs. It's a little bit of a scramble right when you start. All the way up there. Continuing on the ridge, da 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 da. Boom. And then back down into the Limble Gorge for more river crossings. All in a day's work. So I camped on the other side of that. That's everything we've done up to here. It's like a dry river gulch. More like a waterfall. Whew. Be glad to get out of this sun too, boy. This is the back side of the chimneys, or the front, I guess, depending on where you're coming from and who you're asking. So they've got a couple areas up here on the ridges closed. Area closed due to, or not due to, but to protect peregrine falcons that are nesting up here. So I wonder if I've been hearing their songs all day. I've seen a lot of bigger birds gliding out there, so it's pretty cool. So this is one of the chimneys. You can see it's all pocked up. A lot of holes and vents. Easy free climbing stuff, I guess. A lot of people come out here for it. Just a split in the rock, doesn't really lead to much. And there's, I think, 3 total kind of towers that the chimneys are comprised of before you get all the way over to the big guy in the distance, Table Rock, which the MST doesn't actually go over, it just goes beside. It reminds me of some out west style rock formations, like Coyote and Roadrunner, if those rocks were green and blue instead of orange and yellow. Some of you might recognize this from this setting from one of the pictures on my website. This is the spot the first time I solo through hike cowboy camped was underneath this ledge during some rain, and it was the first night I felt a real powerful connection to the physical place I was on, especially climbing up to the top of this chimney. This is the first chimney if you're coming from Table Rock, the third if you're coming east on the MST, and just felt a real heavy weight, but a weight that felt like very light, and a magnetic pull of my spirit into this place. So it's always been special to me, and I had to stop and take a little break here and say hello for sure. Coming down off the chimneys, got a couple really large areas for camping. It's a little closer to the Table Rock parking area, and even larger camping areas, even closer to the parking lot. Nice old school picnic area. A little permanent grill. Couple of them. And then you got some toilets. I don't know if they're open right now for COVID or whatever. Trash drop off. And a easily accessible parking area. Doors are open. Toilet paper stock, people. And this parking lot's accessible most of the year. I know they do close it at some point in the winter, but there's Table Rock, which I will not be climbing to the top of. Woo! Yeah! Woo! Dry.